list. This is what we're going to do. So first, before anything, you're establishing your keywords. All right. Then you're establishing your partial matches, your variations. Oftentimes it is mistaken for LSI, but there's something that's called co-occurring words. All right. Co-occurring words and LSI, I think you should be using both. So these are words that are commonly brought up when speaking about a particular topic. All right. LSI, co-occurring. I like co-occurring words better. Okay. So this makes it a lot easier. It just makes it easier. I mean, I've made other tutorials where you can do all this for free. You can use SEO Quick for word count and for quick optimizations. You can use SEO Meta in one click for heading tags and image alts and how many images and everything. But you're clicking around. It's just, this is all right here. It's right here. You know, it just makes it so much easier. All right, so kicking it off, the very first thing that we need for SEO audit checklist is going to be the word count. So our word count is 50. You know, the top 10 rankers are going to have about 5,500 words. Okay. Now, I recently saw John Mueller speak about this. I'm not saying that, you know, their information's bad or it's good, but he said it's not a ranking factor. But the caveat to what he said was longer. What he was getting at was, you know, maybe people want shorter content. Maybe people want longer content. But if you go to the SERP and you take a look at who's ranking, right? Obviously, for this SERP, people want longer content. So that's what it's going to rank. So you may be able to get in here with a higher density of keywords, right? And more variations and more LSI and better optimization and better off-page. But to build an optimal page, we need to hit this 5,500 words. So that's what we're going to do. So very first thing is we need to go to a Lorem Ipsum generator. I was going to copy content, but I don't want to get in any type of trouble or anything like that. And two, I mean, he's ranked. I should have looked. I didn't really think that my buddy was, I mean, SEO buddy was ranking right there for that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. So the main topic here is about 5,540. So we're going to go for 5,600 words. So very simply, very crassly, we're going to do 5,600 words and we're going to generate some Lorem Ipsum. So that's key. As we're going down the list here, so far, we're going down the list. So our word count here, we know that our word count is about 5,600 words. This time I'm going to fill out the sheet to make our lives a little bit easier, if I remember. So, step 1, keyword research. We know our keyword we're targeting. Step 2, variations and partials. Simple. That's easy. That's adding S's, taking them away, and breaking down the word of a long tail phrase like we're targeting. Step 4, co-occurring words. We're going to do that at the end. Speed optimization, taken care of. So let's get our article here. Beautiful article. Absolutely stellar. And what we're gonna do is we're going to crassly just copy all of this beautiful text. Okay, excellent. 150 paragraphs. Lorem Ipsum. Let me just take a look here quick. Okay, so we have our 5,600 words. We're gonna hop right back over here. What we're gonna do is just launch a quick I haven't been in here in so long. If you've never used Thrive, and I'm not saying that they're the best or anything, but as far as, you know, speed and ease of use, absolutely wonderful for WordPress. And what I mean by speed isn't speed of, because maybe it might not be the fastest, but it's very easy to use. I like Elementor too. I have been with a recommendation from Ruan Moreno, right? I spoke to him I don't know, about 30 days ago, I spoke to him, and with a recommendation from him about Drupal. So I launched a site for a buddy of mine. He owns a comic book shop, and I used Drupal. Phenomenal content management system. So Ruwan, good looking on that. If you ever see this video, you probably won't, but if you do, thank you for that recommendation. All right, so going down the list here. Let's move this out of my way. Heading tag, no, we don't want that. We can use that. We can leave that H1 there. Let me make sure this is H1, okay, and this is paragraph text. Perfect. All right, we can bust this up later. All right, so we have word count taken care of. All right, let's head back over here. So our title. Now, when implementing, all right, there's two pieces here that I want to take care of. All right. And this should be in here because it's a ranking factor in my opinion. So we're going to make it 1A, okay? It should be number 1, but I already have 1 here, so I'm going to use 1A. And 1A is the URL, okay? In my opinion, it's a factor, all right? So inside of the title, right, and generally they're going to stick it inside when you're using WordPress. But for this particular instance, it's called the slug inside of WordPress. So the slug of the slug in the URL needs to be the keyword, all right, in my opinion. So it should be yourwebsite.com/keyword, okay? Now, we're not doing any siloing. I kind of like a flat structure or one supporting article or maybe 2 supporting articles. But again, I don't really build massive sites. You know, 50 to 100 pages is really about the threshold of where I usually do. So yeah. So we're going right here. So the title is going to be, and here's what I want to show you this. And I should add this to the list. So what we're going to do is we're going to put in the keyword. We want to take a look at the SERP. Often forgot sometimes. So we're going to do free SEO audit, okay? Because we're looking for something. And I'm going to speak about that in a moment. So free SEO audit checklist is really the keyword that we're targeting. All right. Oh, I see that high voltage SEO is advertising with Moz and SEMrush. That's interesting. Okay. Quick Sprout is taking the snippet, so I would probably copy that. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So Chase is winning spot 2. HubSpot. All right, so free, and then he used the word template, report, checklist, free SEO audit, checklist, template, audit, free, template. Let me go up here really fast here, and then the word template. All right. So sediment for this niche is the word template. All right. I'm going to use the word template inside of, so title is going to be main keyword first. So free SEO audit checklist template, right? Template. Bam, done. So we can make this public for now. That's fine. I might take this down. All right. And then what I want to do is I want to go over here and I want to take a look. How to run SEO audit checklist template. See, Chase is on the right course here. SEO audit checklist template. See, he's following the rules. See this? Look at first couple hundred words. I bet you it's first on his list. So this guy Chase here knows what he's doing. Obviously. So that's what we're going to do. So our title here is free SEO audit checklist, and then the word template, and then that's going to match our first H1 heading. right? Free SEO audit checklist. So far we have word count. All right, let's head back over here. I just want to walk through as we're going here, right? I know that this might be more beginner, but I had a few people ask me like, hey, what about WordPress? And I know it's kind of the same because I did one on a G site, but there was a couple elements that I wanted to show, but the premise is the same. But I know a lot of people that watch maybe perhaps have WordPress. Maybe they are not launching static sites or forums or whatever the case may be. So I want to share this with you, okay? And I'm going to try to make it a little bit more quick. I'll shut up. I'll be quiet. So far, word count's taken care of. Speed, all that stuff is done. Title, URL, right? Same thing. First H1 tag, exact match, keyword, okay? Generally, it's going to be big, bold, up at the top. I'm not doing anything pretty. I'm just doing optimization, okay? That's it. I'm just showing you optimizations. All right, now, next, we're going to head over to the tool. And again, you can do all of this stuff without a tool, but if your time is more valuable than your money, then I would invest the upfront capital to save the time, which, again, that's up to you. It's up to you. All right, so we took care of the word count. So our next step on the list is we want to figure out our images. No, we want to set up our page structure first. So, and an outline is, I want to mention this. I believe, in my humble opinion, that an outline, a properly outlined page, could be very, very helpful. All right. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to set up our structure. Okay. So title, paragraphs. We're going to go to paragraphs now. So we want to see how many paragraphs quickly. All right. Because I'm trying to figure out the structure here very briefly. So number of elements for paragraphs. So there's 190 paragraphs. So I want to head back over here really quick here, really fast. And I know that we did 5,600. Oh, you know what? I think I did paragraphs. That's my mistake. So we're going to do 5,600 words. I might need to recopy and paste because it was stuck on that first. Okay, so it's 190 paragraphs. So this is 63 paragraphs, right, at 5,600 words. So what mark we need to beat is, to be optimal, is 190. So we're looking at 190 paragraphs. So that says to me that there's probably going to be a lot of H tags. One H1, multiple H2s and H3s, multiple sections. There's probably going to be unstructured and structured lists. So we have to look, right? We need to figure that part out. So we're going to go over here now that we know that the paragraph, what the number count is. Let me keep that up. Paragraphs, number of elements. Let me go ahead and write that down quick. So maybe that should even be on there. So paragraphs, the count is 190. Okay, so we can pop this off. And then we need to figure out our next, what we're doing now is setting up the structure of the page. Important. This is important. In my opinion. My opinion, it's just my opinion. All right, so headings. So this is next. How many elements do we have? So we already know that the H1 should be 1, but we're going to check for fun and see what everybody's doing. So 1 is optimal. So as you can see, even out here in Booney land, they're using 1, which is generally what people will do, okay? So yeah. So we're going to do H2 through H6, so how many elements, but we're going to go number by number, which I skipped last time because I didn't really have the option, all right, with the Google sites. But this is important. I want to be semantically correct the whole way through. Every element, all of them, which is ideal. All right, so number of elements for the H2 tag is 8. Okay. So let me just get a brief little, H2 is 8. All right. So then we're going to go to H3. How many elements are we working with? Oh, get rid of this. Sorry, my mistake. H3, number of elements, 24. Okie doke. H4, elements, is 35. That's interesting. Free SEO audit checklist. Let me just take a look at something really fast here, because there could be something throwing off my... Okay. That's interesting. Okay, so I was worried about, like, I saw that HubSpot and whatnot was in there, and I thought to myself, they probably have a massive page, but it's looking okay. Okay. All right. So let's head back down here. All right, 35. And then H5. Now, it's completely irrelevant, but I'm going to check anyway. So there's one H5, okay. And then H6 is, I'd be surprised to see. Okay. So as you can see here, like, it's just a quick calculation. Now, if you were doing this without a tool, maybe you would only analyze the first 3, but you'd be really doing yourself a disservice when you start looking at co-occurring words. You want to just bring in a few more. Honestly, like say with LSI or co-occurring words, you want a data set that is very vast, right? And that's why I don't really like looking at LSI tools, because to do a true LSI, to bring in, I would need a larger data set. So only analyzing 10 sites or 50 sites or 100 sites is almost a disservice, but we got to do what we can do. So above the fold here, so this is important. I can't quite read that. So 300 words. 300 words above fold. All right. So I think that we have the, I hope that I've driven that home, which is all I was trying to do, and doing that, right, was, okay, we took care of our title, we took care of the URL, we took care of the first H1, we have our word count taken care of. Now we've set up our page structure. So when we're sending off for our content, we know, okay, listen, these are our titles. H2s, there's 8. H3s, which support our H2s, right? There's going to be 24. H4s, the structure of the page is important, right? And when building out a properly structured page, it will lead to better SEO. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so we have that taken care of. What I want to get into more, other than page structure, like putting stuff in here, is I want to talk more about the co-occurrence of words, bolding, partials, more optimizations, okay? So let's keep moving on. So now that we have our structure taken care of, and I walked through the process just to prove a point, I guess, just to show you, like, that would be an important step to me, is a proper layout of a site, okay? All right, so let me pop this back up here. I want to make sure that this is here, this is here. All right, so as we move down our list, all right, we've taken care of this section, all right, and this is a part of page structure, all right. Now, variations, all right, so variations are going to be the elements within the content that make up our long tail phrase, okay? So we need to just go in here and figure out to ourselves, okay, inside of the paragraphs, what's the partial keyword count? What do I have launched here? There should be a little box. Okay, get rid of this. All right. So we're going to go to paragraph text. And we're going to go to partial keywords. So partial keywords is 83. Hey, come on. All right, so partial match is 83, and then the exact phrase needs to be on the page. Interesting. Okay. So that tells me within the headings, how many times are they using the exact? Okay, so 1. All right, H2, are they using the exact? Okay. H3. Interesting. Okay. So when we're looking at this, the reason why it's giving me 0.5% is because I'm looking up exact keyword densities within heading tags. The reason why it's not giving me a massive number, like say a 1, because it was used one time, is because they're using partials throughout the heading tags. Now, generally, this is a good way to go. That's what's going on here. So what we're going to do then is inside of our heading tags, we need to figure out, okay, now that we've gone through, we've realized, okay, they're not using the exact match other than within the title, the URL, and the H1, right? Because it was 0.77, it was almost 1. So those 3 spots are going to be our exact matches for the overall page. Everything else is going to be partially matched for this SERP, right? Each SERP will be different. So our next step here is within this partial keywords 83. All right, so we're just going to say 26. So 26 of each word. So free SEO audit. Okay. And when I'm done structuring this page, I'll show you what's cool about this particular tool, which you could pick out these details. But here's what we're looking for. So we have this content here, right? We'll say that we went through and took care of our structure, right? We already have our content back. So here's our content. So what we're doing is here, oh crap. It's actually 20. It's a 4-part. That's my mistake. It's 20 of each word. All right. So within the first above the fold, right, for this particular SERP, it's looking for 300 words, okay? But no matter what, that very first sentence, even though that we may be a little bit above the optimization, but the overall optimization of this page should be okay. So since I used it in those first couple words, now it's going to be 19 of each word, okay? Does that make sense to you? Because each partial there needs to be 20 of, because it's a four word. Free SEO audit checklist. So I used free SEO audit checklist, which is an exact, but that makes up of each of those words. So now instead of being 20 throughout the content, there needs to be 19 of each word. Does that make sense? Hopefully so. All right. So it's a relatively easy process. The key here would be to go through and do 1, 2. Now you would obviously be writing your content. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. For sake of going through the content, here's what I'm going to do, because I want to get to the very end of the editor, but I'm going to walk through these parts. I'm on 8. There needs to be 19 of each. I'm getting to the content editor and to show co-occurring words and some NLP. But right now we're taking care of some optimization. So we're at 8. All right. So I just want to get through this because it's, again, I'm just showing important elements. Now, obviously, you would have written out content, right? You're not going to do it this way, but you still need to meet these criterias to have a semantically optimized page, okay? So that's the purpose of this, and then I'll show you something. At the very end, we're going to get to the editor to make sure all of our optimizations are proper, which I'm walking through because we could have used the editor to begin with, but if you weren't using this tool, you would have to go and figure these things out. You'd have to analyze the SERP to figure out, okay, what's the optimal word count? How many bolds? How many partial matches? How many exact matches? Okay, how many exact phrases? How many headings? How many paragraphs, right? So I was doing it one by one because that's what you would have to do, all right? So 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm only doing this just for sake of time. 12, 13. All right. All right. Because I want to get to the editor. All right. So right now we would usually be going through and editing the content. That's all I'm doing right now. So the word SEO, it needs to be okay, that should be good. We're going to do one more, though, just for sake. All right, so audit. Oh, actually, no. We need to take that away because I have it up top. Okay. All right, we're going to go here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 and 7 is 14. All right. Okay, one more. Checklist, the word checklist. Now, this would be the partial, again, if you've just hopped on, you're wondering, what is this guy doing? Again, you would have written out content. This would be optimizations that you would be plugging into the content, or you would be writing it naturally, but you would need to contain these partial matches of the main keyword, which is free SEO audit checklist, throughout the content. All right, so that's what I'm doing. To save time, not going to write content. I don't want to go through, and I'm just adding it because we're getting to the end of, I want to show the editor. But I'm going through the optimizations. That's all I'm doing, okay? If you've just popped on here, if there's even anybody watching. 2, 3, I'll probably edit this part out. 4, actually I definitely will. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 6 is 12. Right? So it's 12, 6, 12, and we're going to do 18. So that should be fine. All right, so free SEO audit checklist. Perfect. So free SEO audit checklist. So what have we gone through so far? So we knew that our partial count was 83. 83 divided by the 4 would have been the 20, right? But because we used it in our first 300 words, which would be optimal for above the fold, we've used it 19 times. So this is the partial inside of content, right? And this would have been within your paragraphs. So far, we've optimized the amount of paragraphs. So we've set up an end. We would have taken care of all of our H tags. See, we're moving down the list. Paragraph body content. That's what we just did, okay? Now, the images it's the same thing. We need to figure out how many images are optimal, and then we need to figure out the alt text within those images. So what is just like we did here, is it exact match? Is it partial match? Are they using LSI or co-occurring words within there? So you would need to analyze the SERP to figure that out, or you could use a tool, right? For this instance, I'm using Surfer SEO. You could use any tool you want, right? I just like this one. So that would be a check mark right here. How many images and what type of alt text are they using? That's important. Now, I'm not going to go and do all that right now, but I wanted to show you that, okay? Anchors. So this is important. Google is analyzing everything. Outbound, inbound. Very important, all right? So I'm sure you can understand outbound and inbound text, right? So the question there is, are they, when they're interlinking or outbound linking, are we using partial or exact match? This is also an important factor. All right. Now, the next step that I want to do is bold and italic. Now, this is a lot more lower on the list, but these are still important factors. All right. I would consider them to be on page factors because this is bold and emphasis on particular terms or words or things that I want to jump out. Right. This is important. So we need to go in and see, well, how many bolds, baby, do I need? Or strong. I think strong, I remember somebody somewhere, I heard, right? I haven't tested it, but I've heard that maybe strong is better to use. Who knows? I think they're the same, so I'm going to go with bold. So exact keywords that need to be bold, 0.3. So that means it's going to be partial words, right? So we're going to take a look, and we know that we need to, we're going to do 4 of them. All right. So I'm assuming, which I could be wrong, that probably 9 times out of 10, we'll hop right back up here. I'm assuming that after analyzing this and taking a look, because we have a 3.8, which is almost 4, that's our 4-word phrase, right? I can probably bet you that if we do free SEO audit checklist, I'm assuming that first in the above the fold text is probably bolded, right? So we're going to go to the number 1 or number 2 ranker. I think that this. All right. So here's what I'm talking about. They call it important terms, but these are terms that are coming up frequently or co-occurring words, right? So these are words that are spoken about often when speaking about content. In this particular niche for this particular SERP. So what I would do, I wouldn't use all of them, but what I would do is anything that's semantically related to my niche, which is going to be SEO, I would go in here and I would say Okay, this is a variation. SEO auditing, SEO auditors use it once. You see what I'm saying? These would be co-occurring words. So if you were going to do this with a complementary tool, a free tool, all you would need to do then is go into, say, SEO Quake, and go to your top 5 SERPs, pull up those 5 pages, and look what words in a phrase, in a 2-word phrase or a 3-word phrase, are coming up. Because if you take a look here, which words are being used the most? Look at SEO audit, auditing, auditors, right? These are the words that should be talked about. LSI words, co-occurring words. Like use screaming. I know that they're talking, oh, here it is, screaming frog. I know that they're talking about that, but maybe I wouldn't write that. Maybe I would. I would tune it initially, let it sit, let it get indexed, and then go back and retune. Don't just do everything all at once. Make a page, make it optimal with images and all of the steps that we walked through. We know that by doing an analyzation of the SERP for this keyword, we know that a featured snippet is popping. So this right here, see the dots? This is an unstructured list, okay? Unstructured list. Now the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? 1 period, 2 period, that's called a structured list, okay? So we know if we want to win a SERP, not only do we need to get to page 1 to win a snippet, but we also will need a list, an unstructured list, okay, with bullet points. So this is the last part that I wanted to talk about. So according to the ones that I picked, all right, I was going off of the top 10 when I went and picked all of the details, like we talked about here. How many paragraphs, what's the word count. That initial search was for the top 10. This right here in the content editor, which all I wanted to show you was really this right here, were the co-occurring words, or the NLP is what they call it. What I was using was everybody in the top 10. So generally, I would say tune to what's winning in the top 10, but you can go the other way. But I wanted to go ahead and show you this right here, because if you're doing it with a free tool, I feel that it's very important to use terms that are being talked about on other pages that are ranking, co-occurring words. All right, so let me hop back over here, and I think we're going to end this. So to cover everything, last iteration, because I'll edit that out except for what I just talked about. But here's what's important, okay? Getting the word count right, speed, knowing the co-occurring words, words that are talked about, or LSI terms, however you want to look at it, okay? Getting the variations and the usage of variations right. Now, if you're tuning to the top 5 or the top 10, or maybe you have a really powerful tool where you're pulling all 100. I think Cora does that, right? I forget the guy's name, but his tool does that. So that could be useful. Having the title correct, above the fold. So above the fold is how many words show up without having to scroll. That's above the fold. Okay. Generally, too, depending if you're in a local niche, a national niche, you may not want to put anything into the meta description. You want Google to pull the meta description, and it's going to pull from above the fold. Okay. Because remember, that's altering your overall, for the render DOM, which is what Google is crawling. Okay. Google is taking into account the keywords that you're putting in, and also that meta description. So that's altering your overall page optimization. So you'll have to retune your page, okay? So it might be best to leave out keywords, meta keywords, leave out a meta description, leave it out, unless you're going to retune your page, including those keywords, okay? That's the only caveat. It all counts together, okay? I hope this has been useful. I mean, I know that a lot of people use, I hope this was useful. Is there any questions regarding SEO, local SEO, anything that I can anything that I can answer. I'm going to head up here to the top. If this was useful, please, a thumbs up so others can find the video would be awesome. Ryan said he wanted to join the group. I have to go in manually and pre-approve because I